Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. First, I'm gonna apologize for this lighting. Let's just say we don't have living room curtains, so I can't close the curtains, obviously. We don't have them. And the sun is pretty much like right outside my living room window. So yeah, we're just gonna ignore that. Or at least try. I'm struggling to ignore it, so I don't blame you if you can't ignore it. But these are going to be the October, November, and December book releases I'm excited for. Although there are no December books that I found that I am like, oh my gosh, I really want to read that, or like, there just wasn't really any that piqued my interest. So this is more October and November, but I'm calling it October through December book releases because that sounds better. I think there are 12 books, so let's just jump right into these. I will say the release date, a little bit about the book, if I know stuff about the book, and yeah. So the first book is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco, and this, all I know is it is an adult fantasy that takes place in the same world as her Kingdom of the Wicked series, which I actually own the books right there. And this is about one of the 7 princes of hell, the prince being Envy, and I believe a mortal woman or something like that. And we are in like the circles of hell and stuff like that, and like I don't really know anything beyond that. I don't want to know. I do have this pre-ordered, so as soon as it arrives I probably will be reading it. And this comes out on October 3rd. Also on October 3rd is Wildfire by Hannah Grace, and this basically we follow Rust and Aurora, and basically they have a one-night stand kind of at the end of the school year, and then they end up being camp counselors at the same camp, and then that one-night stand kind of becomes more, I think. I loved Icebreaker, which is the first book in this series, and so I'm very excited for this. I've seen people already talking about it on TikTok, of people that either got ARCs or were able to get just early copies in general. And so I'm sitting here like, I need it. Although I can't afford to buy it, but I probably will read it as soon as my library gets a copy or something, because I've been excited for this since I read Icebreaker in February. So yeah, October 3rd, can you come any faster? On October 10th is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This I know nothing really about. I don't really want to know anything about it. I love all of Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter books, so I am excited to read something by her that isn't set in that world, just to kind of see of how she's able to write other books. Although I have heard some things about this of almost being plagiarism of V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic. So I'm probably not going to read this until it's out and I read reviews, and ultimately I'm kind of going to play it by ear of if I will read it, although I probably will at some point. I'm just not like rushing to own a copy and read it. I'm just kind of like, I'm interested in it because it sounds good and I love Cassandra Clare, but it's not a, oh my god, I need to read it this second type read, if that makes any sense. Next is I'm Your Guy by Serena Bowen, which comes out on October 10th as well. And this basically, we follow like an interior designer and a hockey player, and basically the hockey player hires the interior designer to help furnish his house, and eventually somehow a romance forms. It is a MM hockey romance, which sign me the fuck up. And in general, I'm excited. When in doubt, sign me up for any hockey romance, pretty much. The next book is Princes of Ash by Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue. This, according to Amazon and Goodreads, says October 13th, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going with that date. And this is technically the 8th book in the Royals of Forsyth University series, but the 2nd book in the Princes trilogy, if that makes any sense. And these are just a dark romance. They're reverse harem, 3 guys, 1 girl, and yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to explain. That's all I understand, really. These are books that I love, but do I understand what's going on half the time? No. The next 3 books all come out on October 24th. So the first one is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is the 3rd and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which is a spin-off series of Caraval. And basically, the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy is like a whimsical fantasy where you are following a girl named Evangeline who... How do I explain the first book? Wow. So basically, Evangeline ends up needing to get married to this prince, but there are these stipulations, and there is a much more sinister plot, and there's things to do with like fates and magic and all of that. And I don't really know how else to describe this, oh my gosh. But I'm really excited for this. I have this pre-ordered. I love the first two, and so I'm excited for this. The next book is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake, which is the third book in the Bright Fall series. Have I read the first two books in this series? No. Do I own book one? Yes. Have I heard great things about the first two books? Yes. Hence why Iris Kelly Doesn't Date is on this list. All I know is it is sapphic. That's all I know. That's all I really know about the first two books in the series, but I figured add it to this list. I mean, it sounds good from the description. And when in doubt, you can never go wrong with anything sapphic, in my opinion. Next is King of Greed by Anna Huang, which is the third book in the Kings of Sin series. I've read the first book, King of Wrath. I still need to read book 2, which is King of Pride, and then King of Greed is the third book. And this is basically like a failing marriage, second chance, billionaire romance. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. But I'm excited to read this. I'm hoping to buy King of Pride next month, so then I can buy King of Greed and read it, but we will see. And the final book in October is A Fire in the Flesh by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the third book in the Flesh and Fire series, which is a new adult, like fantasy romance with gods and prophecies and all of that, and I can never describe it, so that's pretty much all I'm going to explain. I'm excited for this. I love the first two, and so I'm very excited for this. So yeah. So all three of these next books come out on November 7th, and the first is Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood. This is Allie Hazelwood's YA debut. She's only written adult, and so now it's her YA debut, and that's all I know. Is it is about like chess. And I think it's like two chess players falling for each other while other things are going on. I honestly don't know. I don't really want to know. I like going into Allie Hazelwood's books completely blind, and so this will be one that I will go into completely blind as well. Next is Rising Dawn by Beck Michaels, which is the fourth book in the Guardians of the Maiden series, which is a upper YA fantasy romance where basically we follow Dinah, who basically every 10 years in her village there is this like shadow monster things that sweeps through and kills a bunch of people, and she's trying to find a way to get rid of this shadow demon. And so then we're 9 years later, and she thinks she might have a way, but she has to travel to this mysterious place that she's unknown if it actually exists or not, or if it's just kind of a legend. And on this quest, she ends up being joined by her cousin Zev, who is a werewolf, and a celestial named Cassiel, who she meets along the way, and it goes 12 miles south from that, but that is just the first book. But there is so many different like mythical beings. There's werewolves, there's angels, there's demons, there's fae, there's elves, there's sorceresses, there's what else? There's so many different things in this series, and so this fourth book I'm so excited for because oh my god, did the ending of the third book literally shattered my soul, and I just freaking I need this now. I'm sitting here like, come on, like I'm genuinely tempted to take off November 7th off of work just to binge it. But I'm not going to. I'm going to do the responsible thing. But I'm like, I need it now. And the final book is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This is the first book in the spin-off series to the Dreamland Billionaires series, which, again, have I read? No. Do I own the first book? Yeah, somewhere, I think right there, actually. But have I heard great things about it? Yes. So am I excited for this? Yes, because this I will just read the little thing of Love Redesigned is a steamy small town romance about two family friends turned childhood rivals. I'm like, gimme, 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 gimme. It's also the first book in the Lakefront Billionaire series, so I'm like, it's gonna have billionaires in it, and I always love that trope apparently. I'm realizing every single billionaire romance I've read I loved, so hopefully this will be one that I love. So yeah, those are all the books I'm excited for. I'm sure there's more that are coming out between October, November, and December that I will read, like the new releases, but I just haven't immediately been grasped by them, or I haven't heard of them yet, because there's so many books coming out that when in doubt, some always slip through the cracks. But yeah, let me know what is one book that you are excited to come out in October, November, or December. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!